I don't know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Hanging on the promises of the songs of yesterday. But I've made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time, 'cause here I go again. Here I go again. Hi there. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 37 of Nerf News from the Owl Ranch. I am your host, Mr. Chris Cartaya, and I am, of course, armed with my precision Mauser fire that I love and cherish both equally. And this week, I've got a lot of really cool stuff. A few more follow-ups on the Nerf Ultra. Not just the 1, but the 2, the 3, and even the 4. Actually, we've only heard the 3 and the 4, but I'm sure there's a 2 in there somewhere. But this week, I got to catch up with Boomtendo, who is, of course, one of my favorite, community people. I can't say Nerf community, more Boomco community, but still involved in the same community because it's all dart guns. It's just a different ammo format. And I got to meet up with him at Disneyland. So he's the only the second Nerfer to go to Disneyland with me. And I dare you to go. I dare you to just show up and say, hey, Chris, let's go to Disneyland. And it's Boomtendo, and Nate Little will tell you, Baghead will tell you, he's a character. Yeah. We went and I interviewed him. I got this really good interview with him, and I just found it fascinating to talk to somebody who's in a different ammo format, a different everything, as where we worked, a whole bunch of us worked tirelessly to get Nerf to shoot where it is. And I mean, we've gone with, making homemades, we've gone with lock and loads and night finders, and now even sharp fires, and even spamps, which was derived from the sharp fire. And it's really interesting to talk to somebody who had to do it on a totally different level, had to do it totally different ammo format, totally different everything, but the approach is the same. However, he's been getting a lot of, how to say, flack. And why? Why? Because he's different. And are people afraid people are different? Yes. I personally, when he really made that record-breaking 267-foot shot, and I saw an even farther shot go past the fence line and hit the other side of a wash with a Caliburn, about 40 kilograms with a Boomco dart. I was just fascinated. I had no ego about it. I was like, yeah, your darts have less coefficient, drag, and there it is. But, people sit here and they call, his dart format obsolete. Obsolete's a bad word. Let me tell you why it's a bad word. It's a bad word because it's just one that people didn't choose. The dart format itself is actually very good in a lot of ways. It doesn't shred. It acts differently in the barrels. It also, it's good for long-range stuff. You never know. I might pull out a 40 caliber solution for a dart gun, or a 43 caliber solution for a dart gun one day when I really want to go far. Right now, 50 cal's doing it for me, okay? And Stefan's doing it for me, and it's a more universal ammo format. I gotta shoot you now. It was good knowing you. You're dead now. And if you're not, you're undead. So I guess you can be my friend. And to be honest with you, it's just a different format. So it's really fascinating talking to somebody who's different format, different everything, talking about Boomco and how it just didn't grasp to people in the community. And I think it had a lot to do with marketing, because now we're seeing like the Nerf Ultra where they're whoring this with tons of marketing, a television show, a television special that we saw on Phone Blast this week in Nerf, and all this other stuff. So here it is. Here's the interview. I thought it was really cool. It's stitched together in like 3 parts, but it was really just a great day hanging with him, riding on 7 rides in about 3.5 hours, and eating lunch with someone who I believe is a pioneer, and somebody who I believe that deserved a lot more attention. So here we go. Hi there, campers. Gang here with Disneyland with Boomtendo. We're on the ride for Galaxy's Edge, and we're going to crash the fountain. But while we do that, I figured let's do an interview with the one and only Boomtendo, the rebel, the man who's the longest range blaster, and I don't care what anybody says. It really is, and I will concede to that, even Mr. Long Range. So how you doing, man?
Good.
Coolness. So, tell me, what do you think about, for example, Ragnar? I mean, I couldn't make it, you couldn't make it, none of us could make it.
I'm here at Disneyland.
Yeah.
But I heard there was a bigger crowd, so it sounds good.
Lots of new people, lots of new stuff. You know what I mean? I know I couldn't make it, Alan couldn't make it. Bobo said he wasn't going to make it, so.
They had, who was that? Orange Modworks showed off a couple of new things.
Yeah.
And they,
new long shot.
The guy who does the magnetic holster was there.
Ah.
Yeah.
I do magnetic holsters, but they're like clip button strap. But this is the one that makes the blaster, like you put magnets on the blaster and stick them. That guy?
Little rails.
Little rails.
Pretty durable.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and then FDL wasn't there. They were there last year, but they weren't there this year.
Oh yeah, FDL is just not doing anything right now because of the parts.
They're going out of biz.
Yeah.
Think they'll ever come back up?
I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, we've seen people bite the dust, we've seen people kind of go. We see people leave that we want them to stay, and then we see people that stay that we want to leave, and it's like, what do we do? You know what I mean? So, anyway, what's been going on with you, with Nerf and everything? And well, not Nerf, Boomco. Yes, it's the Boomco champ here.
Well, it's not looking good right now.
It's not. There's been a lot of stuff going on. On our side of things, that which one is you know what I mean? Boomco makes a plastic dart with a rubber head, and it works, it's durable, it's great. And then you got, when Nerf tries to make something like that, oh, it's terrible, it's ugly. You know what I mean?
It snaps in half.
It snaps in half like a carrot. We should just shoot carrots at each other, what do you think? Yeah.
Or Twizzlers.
Oh, Twizzlers. Dude, Twizzler ammo, sorry. Twiz ammo. Ah, it's a little dark here because we're going through this corridor right now. You know, this is supposed to look authentic Star Wars land. You know what I mean? But it's not authentic anything because you haven't seen any movies yet. But nonetheless.
Yeah, but it seems like Boomco is pretty much dead and gone now. All that's left is what's in the warehouses. So.
Personally, I am Nerf, but I always saw the potential of the smaller diameter and the cutting through the air and taking less drag.
Well, it's got the farthest range of any kind of dart.
It potentially, yeah. It took a little different design than, I would say, a Stephanie.
Yeah.
Stephanie, fatter tube and shorter, actually works really well. With this, it was more, tell me about it, you needed longer tube and more, and power.
Yeah, more spring.
More spring. Harder spring, because you're
longer draw.
Longer draw.
So yeah, you gotta have at least 3 inches draw. Under 3 inches, it seems like it's can't go too far with the length of the barrel.
Right.
You need a longer.
Oh, and you need a massive long barrel.
Yeah. But if you have a short tube that's wide, it doesn't work as good as if you have a long tube that's narrower but has more draw.
Right. So it's really interesting. Him working on this project and we talking about it and everything, because I was like a different ammo format. It requires different air, different power, different stuff, you know. And where I have basically looked at when I entered it, I was dealing with the same dart size. He's dealing with a whole different kind of animal here, a whole different format with different pressure requirements, different air velocity requirements, different barrel length requirements. Where 1.7 to 1 works for Nerf, it doesn't really work for Boomtendo. What was the ratio more?
I don't even know. It's hard for me to tell because I can't afford to buy all of it and cut brass over it.
2.1, 2.2 to 1 rather than 1.7. You actually needed more barrel to express the pressure.
Yeah.
And which really tells me a lot.
Like I was going like 40 inches and still didn't really.
40 inches on like a Caliburn, right?
Yeah, like a Caliburn
110
or
cc.
Spring Thunder.
Wow. That was incredible how well that actually works. So, yeah, he had to walk out of line because, well, just the ship broke down. I mean, there it is right there. It's broken down. Chewie keeps trying to fix it, but what can you do, right? So, anything else you'd like to add?
What else I'd like to add is, well, Boomco does really good on his HPA.
Ooh, I bet.
So you don't have to worry as much about springs with that.
Nice.
The other thing is, it does really good with flywheels. If you have a dual wheels set up. And those daybreak wheels are the best I've found so far.
You really worked a lot on those wheels and trying to get the adhesive to stick with the rubber and everything else. And it was a lot of work. I remember you talking about it. But you know, it's like, does anybody with a new ammo format really do this much work anymore? And I think a lot of this paranoia and fear between Boomco and Nerf is that nobody wants to do the work.
Yeah.
And I think you were determined enough to do the work. And that's why I like you. You're determined. You do your best, you know? And I do think that that would be cool with HPA because you don't need a real powerful spring, You don't need a real powerful spring to do it. You can just go HPA. And with that smaller diameter, you can make that pressure and volume however high you want to. But really is, I think the stubbornness comes from not wanting to try something new.
Yeah.
And I'm at that a lot with pistols, but I was still using the same ammo format. Nobody wanted to try to make like a 200 foot per second fire strike. I mean, come on. But,
well,
you know.
I think it's just a failure of marketing by Mattel because they just didn't put enough behind it to get any kind of recognition or much of a fan base.
Yeah.
As Nerf has for the past 30 years. So.
Yeah, but so you got good ammo format with poor marketing, and now Nerf Ultra One, you got great marketing but shitty ammo format, and we're gonna see how that goes. I don't think it's gonna go all that great. I mean, do you?
Yeah, it remains to be seen how well they can do in a modified blaster.
Yeah, I mean, Mega had its point. You know, Rival works, and Vortex sales. I mean, these are all ammo formats that were practical. They worked in their own way. I don't think it does, but you're right. It depends on how well it does modding.
Yeah,
you know,
it is heavier than the regular Elites
and bigger diameter.
Yeah.
Whereas Boomco was heavier, but it was thinner diameter. So once you got it going, you were flashing through the air, just like meow, you know.
Yeah.
So that was what we saw. That's what I saw that day, and I wish I saw a lot more of it, you know. But I'm thinking somebody will come back with the concept of the smaller dart format. We'll give it another try. I mean, who knows? I might make a 40 caliber dart one day. Could happen.
It's possible.
Could happen, but I learned a lot from this and this experience. Well, anyway, thank you for your time. We're gonna go ride something else, and don't you go changing, or I'll find you. Back to the show. So, interestingly enough, Orange ModWorks has a new news show on their YouTube channel, on Orange ModWorks. Orange ModWorks News, episode number 1. But, even more interesting is that they have the king of Nerf news. In my opinion, the king. I'm not the king. I'm the guy who likes to talk about mods and this and that and likes his community. But I mean the king. I will even concede that this guy is the king of Nerf news. He had the best show. He had the best everything. And he had to leave in January, and I felt really sad. I also felt sad I couldn't make it to Ragna. I got a car with no air conditioning, and I was down to my last, I would say, $70, $80. Yeah, for the month. So I spent my last $50 today actually getting groceries for the rest of the month. So at any rate, I'm really, you know, I saw him at Ragna. I met him at Ragna. He really cool player. And as of Ragna, a few things on that. They said Stalking Dead was really cool. I can't wait to see it. They had a dragon kind of character. I really could have really done some real good with this thing with that, I'm sure. But also at Ragna, Orange ModWorks showed up and showed off their shell. I can't wait to see that. But also Team Dauntless won 3 in a row. Can you believe that? 3 in a row. Too bad I can't get a team together. I wish I could, because I could really kick some butt. But at any rate, guess who shows up? Jangular. Yeah, making his triumphant return on Orange ModWorks News.
Today we're going to talk
1.
about Ragnarok Oktoberfest, Project Orange, Retaliator, and Recon Mark II braces, and some updates about the Longshot.
So this is mainly a show about Orange ModWorks News, just Orange ModWorks itself. Not a show in general like Foam Blast or like this. I'm hoping they keep it regular and every week make an update like I did Smoking Nerf News. Which, to be honest, Smoking Nerf News kind of was like Jet Blaster News in a way, but it was also like my news. So it'd be really cool to see a good blend like that with the Orange ModWorks news and other Nerf news
Thanks, Jim.
around.
I'm Jangular, and
Oh,
I'm making
I'm not
YouTube
worthy.
videos with the Nerf
I'm not
for the
worthy.
last
I'm
5
so
to 6
happy to
years.
see him
It's something
back, guys.
I love doing, so I'm stoked to be a part of
Chris,
this project.
we
Thanks for having
miss
me aboard.
you.
Hey Chris, so what we're doing today, and what we'll continue doing, is
That
to
made
give
my
our
day.
fans
That
updates
made my
on
day.
current projects,
I was going through a
future
couple
projects,
months
and other
of
interesting
some pretty
topics.
bad depression, but it really made my day, and I was really happy to see him back. And you gotta watch this. It's really informative. I think Orange ModWorks is making a good turn. Not doing it indirect like Smoking Nerf news was indirect. Doing it direct, and just like, this is Orange Mileworks news, this is the news concerning us in the community, here we are, boom. I can't think of another manufacturer who's ever done that, and definitely not Worker, definitely not anybody else, so I think this is really, really cool that they're doing it, and I think, having a Jangular who is elite correspondent in the field, I think it's really cool. Not that Adriana isn't good. Adriana's, I think, pretty good. And I like the fact that she actually put up an update, a quick update, a couple minutes, just nothing big, talking a little bit about Ragnar Oktoberfest, like, after the event. I like that. She almost couldn't make it there. It was. And, of course, you got Walcom. He puts up news all the time about blasters and reviews and this and that. And he's got the Saturday night thing. So, if you really just want to hang out Saturday, get drunk and everything, and go check it out. But anyway, speaking of getting drunk, we got the old Mr. Petrol number 7 over here. That's good stuff. But this week I found something really cool. This is actually Jack Daniel's Single Barrel. Okay? This is not for the kids, by the way. And actually, this show pretty much is not for the kids either. It is basically 94 proof bourbon. Single batch. Probably one of my favorites. I haven't had this in a really long time, so let me rip this open. I gotta find a knife though. Hold on. I used to just twist the cap, but it's a cork cap, but you can twist like the plastic off. But nah. Let me see. Let me get my finger in here. While I'm opening this, I want to talk about the Nerf Ultra one. So I went to Walmart today, actually, like I said, to get the rest of my food for the month. Pretty much all frozen pizza, some Mr. Petrol number 7, some Coca-Cola, and what have you. And I saw it. Nerf Ultra 1. I like the fact, I was saying that the darts were about the size of the Mega. They're actually slightly smaller, and they're a little bigger than your normal Elites, which is actually pretty cool. They're also a little shorter, but I'm really waiting to see if maybe, maybe Worker or NF Strike make some knockoffs that aren't styrofoam. That'd be kind of cool. They came up with another material, because I really don't think that the foam is really that buoyant in the air, and I really don't think it matters that much. But I saw the 20-pack. It was a little alarming. It was actually not like in staggered orders, like you always see them in order. They were all 20 darts, and they were kind of just thrown together in an enclosed box. A little window where you can see they're all just randomly together. Kind of like a box of Adventure Force darts, but 200 of them. They were 20, and they were $10. So for the same price that you can get 20 Ultras, you can get 200 Adventure Force darts. And of course, Adventure Force foam is just the sought-coveted Stefan foam. I did it first. Was really cool. Also did it first. Was telling you that the Spath works with a Sharpfire catch. Also did that first. Actually gave advice to other people so they could put it in their review video. And that's really cool because I do like to spread the word. And I don't get a lot of exposure on my channel. But if you can refer me that, yeah, Chris told me this, when you do it, I would really appreciate it next time. Anybody who gives the advice of, yeah, this is who did it first, this is who came up with it first. I mean, I'm not modding for my health here. And this thing is being impossible to open. So this is new packaging, 375. That's a 1 pint size of single batch bourbon. 1 second. Okay, one character flaw of this packaging I'm seeing here is it requires a knife to cut it. Hold on, I don't want to cut myself either. Imagine having to do this when you're drunk. You want to go to your next bottle, and you have to deal with this package, and voila, there we go. Ooh, yeah, let's drink some, crap, my ice is already melted. Took that long to find something to cut this with, but there we go. Some good old single batch Mr. Petrol. Yeah, indeed. Where does the word Mr. Petrol come from? Well, okay, like wine and wine coolers, that's basically like Lady Petrol. It's basically like you give a woman like Lady Petrol, and it becomes kind of like the leg spreader. And we call it Lady Petrol or Petrol Lady or what have you. This is male petrol. This makes us do crazy things like drive, act crazy, run around a casino, and try to sell the ape and the monkey over at Circus, and in general act like an asshole. But to me, it actually shows me out. So, oh, really good stuff. I also saw these limited edition bottles of Jack. I was actually looking for them. I couldn't find them. But the limited edition bottles, the ones that are painted, cost a few more dollars. So no, it's not this one, but others. They're actually 43% alcohol instead of 40. So that's the old 86 proof stuff rather than the 80 proof stuff. And it did have a little better flavor to it and was a little less watered down. Jack Daniels was watered down. As you guys remember, Maker's Mark was going to water down to 80 and they're 90 proof. Oh, that would be horrible. Can you imagine what would happen to the flavor? Well, you can tell with Jack Daniels that you lose the flavor. When you go in like 47%, you're going 94 proof like this is. Really good flavor. Just incredible. Very good. And it's corn based, mostly corn based, bourbon, 51%. It's not weedy, kind of like Wild Turkey. And even Knob Creek is a little weedy, but it has a little bit more corn to it than Wild Turkey, which I like. Knob Creek 100 proof. It's actually pretty good. This stuff, a little lower proof, but sweeter. Yeah. And so I was just like, again, this old Nerf Ultra is turning into one of those things that people just throw money at it, and there it is. And I kind of think that's wrong. I kind of do. But let's move on to other things, shall we? Okay. So here we have Heath Hale. The new shell, using new shells that Harrison Lou designed fit perfectly. And, he is making a lever gun. And it's pretty cool because this lever gun can really kick some ass. He asked me on some barrel advice and a few other things recently. And I wanted to show you guys this because I really think that this is far out. And by the way, I own one of these. I am building them. I will get one to you. You'll love it, believe me, because the thing's accurate as hell. But look at these shells right here. Basically what it is it's a tube-fed blaster that basically you can slide it, boom. But unlike the Spring Thunder, it is actually lever action. So it has that leverage to it. Now, we all seen that with the Sentinel. And I think lever action is underutilized. And I think once we get to things like, I was talking to Boomtendo about the caliber and how the smaller diameter needs a little more power to get it. But once it has it, it's like 1 foot per second for every foot. Whereas a Nerf dart, like 420 feet per second, it does maybe 250, 260 feet, something like that flat. I'm not going to say exact range, but I will say it's pretty far. A 40 caliber dart actually has much better coefficient of drag. And for those things, we're going to need things like lever action, stuff like that. Well, here's a blaster that he made, Heath Hale. And this is the guy, of course, that did the pigeon. And you can see, there's a pigeon right there. Yeah. So kudos to that, man. And I really hope that you can get some pretty good power out of that. It's got a fat plunger tube. I believe it's a shorter draw, but it's really, really kick-ass. Yeah, no, that's not a sling fire. That is an actual 3D printed blaster. If you want to see more, go to Printer Blaster Support and Rehab Group. That's his board. And he does make some good blasters, some good pigeons, things like that. And really, a pigeon, me with a pigeon's like unstoppable. It's incredible. So, this guy's got much more of a future ahead of him, and we're going to see much more greater things. So we have this new Flywheel World Hyperdrive. This is a solenoid that can go into a blaster, and it can go into things like a Strife, a Rapid Strike, what have you, and he had tested it at 10,000 cycles on 4S to make sure it does really, really good, and it is... a single sprung can do about 10 darts per second on 3S, and double sprung can do 18 darts per second on 4S. It's pretty cool, so the return springs have to be higher to get the faster return rate, of course. But think about this. This is so cool. You no longer have to deal with a mechanical pusher. You're working with a solenoid. I think this is really rad. and I'm hoping that you can get like maybe longer solenoids to load. That'd be really cool for like, where a lot of them use an air pump. You can use one for maybe an air power blaster. I don't know, something like that. That would be really cool. Or maybe a flywheel blaster. Now, anybody see that flywheel blaster that had like 6 flywheels? It was on Make Test Battle. I want you guys to see it because it was good, but it was just disappointing. Let me show you. There it is, 6 flywheels, folks. 6 in the solenoid pusher. Pretty cool. And I was hoping this thing was doing like 400 feet per second or something. But come to find out, not really. He uses 2 10-gauge wires and runs them in a bus configuration. But I think he's got a few more issues he's got to work out.
I'm Chris, and this is the Infinity.
Pandemonium. That's him. His real name is Chris.
Where, when I first dreamed Nightmare 59, first got my 3D printer and
really cool. Really cool. I like how he bent the plastic around this, and he made it so it kind of has a bazooka, and he used pretty much just polycarbonate handle and everything else. But what really disappointed me is when we got to the chronograph section, and I just feel like this blaster can do a lot more. I mean, 181, 172, 169, 158, 164, 192, 6 flywheels, and you can hear the motors. They're not really going all that fast. Ah, man. So you think triple cage is cool. This is cool. But I think it's suffering from a lot of loss. And it's suffering from a lot of loss with one. I think the last 3 stages should be faster. They should be like Flywheel of the World, type, pigeon kind of speed. They should be doing like 30, 40,000 revs at the end. And if they did, you'd have all that stabilization to throw it. Also, I mean, if you did run really high power, you would need literally like a backstrap nuclear reactor to run this fucker. And that is pretty hairy. But I think it can be done. And but what I'm most impressed with this blaster is most definitely the polycarb work. Look at this polycarbonate work. Oh, it's just such beauty, man. And the fact that you can see the inside of it, and you see this, literally 6-cylinder monster in here just flying. It almost looks like a V12, like a configuration from like one of those old, Ferrari 250 GTOs, where you have like your 12 Weber carburetors sticking out of the intake manifold. And it almost looks like that. It looks so high performance and so high tech. And the construction's excellent. I mean, this is very excellent construction. I just think he's got to work on his power plant and the rotation. But I think if you stick at it, Pandemonium, it will be really cool. Because I really think you're going to get some very high velocities. I think with that many wheels, you're definitely going to have some pretty good velocity. I mean, really, really cool. And last but not least, I have my friend Nerf ECE Ezekiel over in Singapore working on more of the Stampede stuff. This is the one I'm waiting for. I don't care if Worker has a kit. I don't care who else has a kit. I'm really waiting for this one. So, Nerf ECE, trying out new pushers, trying out new things. He also fixed that pesky problem with that return that releases the catch. He found out that the return spring, and I should have said something because I knew this. I used to use a ballpoint pen spring. I used to replace it with a ballpoint pen spring when I did my Stampies. I've done this before, and that spring just pops out, and when it does, there's just no anything. Well, as you can see, look at all of this that he's got built. Looks like he's using standard Monkey Mods barrels kind of stuff, and just doing all this incredible work. But what I found most impressive, even than the pushers, was this carrier right here. Look at this. So he's got a top bracket here that goes into this, and it's one solid piece that's an insert, rather than your really weak piece that you have. I think that's really great. Like, look at this catch, all this catch surface here, so that one little catch surface, that probably keeps the catch all straight. So here's the old piece. It's just hollow, and here it is, and it's got no return whatsoever. And so what happens is the spring just pops out. Yeah, I got away with it by using a slightly thicker gauge, wider spring. But he, that just barely fit in there. It was actually a pen, a spring foam ballpoint pen. But he's using all of this, which really, I mean, think about it. This really does bring the pull, and not only reinforces on the side here, but reinforces it down here. That's a really interesting approach to do it. I would have never thought of that. That is really cool. But here it is, the insert's here. And why is it taking so long? Well, it took me a long time to build my murderizer with an R-spec spring in there, a 14 kilogram Retaliator spring in there. Back when 14K Retaliator was unheard of. Now it's every day. Now you can get them up to freaking 20 some odd kilograms. I mean, Prophecy. But back then, it was literally unheard of. I mean, to the point that people didn't believe me. Okay? But this is really cool. And I think this is going to be steady. If he makes this SLS print and everything, that is really going to hold up very nicely. And I just can't wait to see the Nerf EZ kit. Look how much care and precision he's putting into it. Not just trying to take an old pusher and make it work like the Artifact kit, make it work with this, which by the way you have no way of gluing it. But really working it out, working on the problems, making it good, making it great, so all of us could use. Man, I still have it, man. I still have it. And it is wonderful. I even still have the 3D printed pusher. I've never broken it. I don't know how people break these. I guess they do, but I don't have any idea. I just don't have any idea. How is that possible? So here I am. I'm loading up 3 guns now. Because when you guys leave, me and my other personalities are going to have a shooting spree against each other. And that's okay. I guess you only live twice, right? YOLOT. Instead of YOLO, it's YOLOT. Yeah, you know. Oh, wow. And just so much power. I'm running 16K turf right now. And it's incredible. Just really, really incredible. Really amazing, you know. I love it. I love it. And it's still amazingly powerful, amazing fast. It has a backward compatibility with the Monkey Mods barrels. Just really, really cool. I like my handcrafted one a lot. It's very accurate. But this really does, you know, work really well. It really does. You know, the handle's pretty cool. Again, I prefer a little bit more my fiberglass handle. But this actually was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And Worker did a good job with that. But he really worked to make something that's great. So, judging on the quality of this and results of this, I think when we see this, this is gonna be a Stampy kit to buy right here. This is it. I will speak up for my bud. This is it. This is the one. And I know I'm gonna go out and get me another Stampede, and I'm gonna mod mine with this kit. And I'm sure, like he always does, he's gonna make everything easy. So until next time, this is Chris Cartaya. Don't you go changing. I'm going to drink some more Mr. Petrol. And I'm going to have lots and lots of fun editing this film. And taking a whole day editing it, uploading it, and getting it to you. So, but the good part is that people that do appreciate it, that do like it. I want to thank again Boomtendo for that interview. I thought that was a really good interview. And I thought it was very solid. And that it is really hard to be different. It is really hard to have a different ammo format. But without people working on new stuff, how are we supposed to know if something's good or bad or not? And I wouldn't call something outdated as I would call it unpopular. And unfortunately not being supplied anymore. Because I've seen the Boomco Dart fly. They're pretty good. I prefer Stefan, 50 cal Stefan. I mean, there's no converting me there. You know, I mean, that's me. But it really is something to see something that I believe that in many ways his Spring Thunder and his Caliburn were actually ahead of its time. And who knows, maybe one day we are going to be shooting 40-foot caliber. Maybe one day we are going to be shooting, like, you know, smaller diameter darts to go farther. I mean, we've definitely hit a wall, I think, with the sniper. I think if you can go 600 feet per second with 50 caliber, but then you're going to hurt people. So you really need lower speed now and thinner so that you can go farther more efficiently. We will see you in Disneyland, and if not, I'll see you on the show, and if you don't keep watching, I will find you. So it's not just an addiction, it's a deadly habit, because I'm Madman Rosen.